Storm Chasers, welcome back to the show. We have another episode of Soul Connection, and with me is Dr. Linda Salvin today.
Hey, Storm. Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Look, I'm going to get straight to it. I want to talk about the LGBTQIA2 plus community, and I want you to approach it from a spiritual perspective.
I don't know what every single letter stands for, so forgive me. I'm not part of the community. I have lots of friends in the community. I am not biased or judgmental, whatever.
I'll lay it out for you.
I just don't know all of the terms.
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender or transitioning, queer or questioning, intersex. A is for ally or for asexual. And then 2+ means two-spirited, a two-spirited individual.
Okay. That must be
you look confused.
That's newer than I last knew. And about May, a couple of months ago, I was in a lovely store here in the Studio City area of Southern California. And a man and his husband own this gift store that I love, and we were talking about that. He said, well, they're going to be adding H. I said, now what? What's H? He said, human. Because we're all something. We're all human. Is asexual where you don't crave being sexually involved, or is it that you have no sex drive?
It's a mixture.
Abstinent or celibate.
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. No. Okay. Yeah, that's not the same. It's an umbrella. So you have asexuality, which means if I'm asexual, I don't have a sex drive, I don't crave it, I have no need for it. Now, can I still be married? Can I still be in a relationship and have sex with you out of like a biological function? Yes, I can. But do I have an innate drive to want to go out? I don't chase it. But under asexual, you also have people that are aromantic. So you have asexual, and you have aromantic. Aromantic means
I'm a romantic, but not aromantic.
So aromantic means I don't crave I don't crave an emotional connection either. So I can be asexual, which means if we're married, I don't want to have sex.
Oh, don't say that on the show. Your listeners are going to think we are. Come on, they read through every line. Come on, no, I'm not married to Storm. We're in different states, people.
Yeah, we're in different states.
I'm old enough to be his grandmother. Go.
But I can be asexual, but still romantically attracted to you because I just want that emotional connection. Or I can be asexual and aromantic, which means I don't crave any of it.
Let's move on to the topic of the day. Okay, so whatever you are, I hope you're happy. There's toys, there's hands, there's other body parts to stimulate. I mean, I just got involved with one of my clients. I don't think I should repeat it on there because I'll probably watch, but I'll have to remind me. I'll tell you later. It might fall into place here. I don't.
Now I'm a sapiosexual. I'll be honest.
What does that mean? You eat. You sleep with everything.
I do.
Eat and sleep.
No, but what it means is I'm attracted to intelligence, and so I literally only like it. I realized it. Like I thought something was wrong with me. Then I was like, no, I don't like stupid women. I only like intelligent.
No, you get bored, or they're just dumping all their emotions and neediness and frailties. They want you to rescue them and take care of them and provide for them. And in the meantime, you're like, okay, it's like somebody meets somebody who's a billionaire and they travel around the world, but there's no connection with that couple, but they look good, feel good for the moment, or they're using each other, or it's a trinket. But when you get inside, there's no connection. And if you're not connecting intellectually, I'm the same way. If I can't relate to somebody, no. But in the old days, and we're all guilty of this, I'm not going to say, oh, that's too much of an assumption, but a lot of people from the drug, sex, rock and roll, drinking days, and people are still partying, a lot of one-night stands or clubbers or whatever. You don't get to know each other. You don't even know if there's a connection. There's a physical draw. Oh my God, I'm so sexually drawn. This is my soulmate. Oh my God, I got to sleep with them. You sleep with them, and the energy's either there or not. It either happens a few more times or it doesn't. Or you wake up after a few months, it's like, I don't even like this person. Who are you?
Yep.
So the eye candy or the stimulation is one thing, but unraveling the package, and you find out they're either stupid or ignorant or lazy or have a whole different mindset than you. No, it's not attractive to you or me into what you need or I need to be turned on and fulfilled.
I agree. And that's okay. And I understand that people are different, but in particular, there's an actress, and I'm going to show you the picture, and I'm going to get your honest take. That's what we do. We do honesty.
Yeah, we do. I can't wait to see what you're going to pull up because I have no idea.
you know, I'm always pulling up something. Oh, they'll take that and run with it too.
I was just going to say, yeah, pull up your pants, Storm. So with sexual connotations here.
Oh,
they think you're nothing but sex.
Yeah, they do. They do. Side note, I saw a comment that said this show has turned so sexual. And I said, wait a minute. You guys talked about my sexuality for 3 years straight. And now I tell you what I do and it's a problem. I'm like,
well, because they have to have one more bone to pick, no pun intended, to draw out the next controversial statements. Okay, is this...
Okay. So we have T.S. Madison and her name is Jessica on the right. So on the left, she's a transgender woman. On the right, a biological woman. And they're having a fight on social media right now because...
Who's woman and who's not?
Who's a real woman, who's protecting real women. And so when you see a transgender woman, like what does that mean spiritually?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Okay, and there are books out, and I was telling Storm, I have no idea where the book is, was given to me by a publicist years ago who's now deceased, and I don't know if I kept it, but this has been a long time controversy. It's just now it's here, and it's in the media all the time. Where do I start? I didn't hold on to their names, but the one, what's her name? The one who transitioned, her name is
Madison.
What?
Okay. Madison.
What was her name before when she was he?
Timothy.
Okay. Timothy was born male. Timothy probably inherited or was born with a female soul. Or past lives, let's say Timothy was born in the 90s. I don't know. But the past lives may have been from the 70s, the 60s, the 40s, the 1800s. We have hundreds of past lives. And it's possible in the last past life, let's say he was born in 1991. Folks, don't say she's wrong. I'm just alluding because I don't know the facts here. But the soul might have last existed and incarnated in 1984. Died, came back. Could have been Timothy was a female that left in 1984, 1963, or 1922, or whatever. But when the soul comes back and chooses a body, Timothy's body inherited a female soul. That's where a lot of the female identification in the male form comes from. This is one theory spiritually. It doesn't mean I understand all psychology and biology and microbiology and anatomy. It's all part of what makes the personality. Then you have me or you. We are heterosexual. I am female.
Allegedly.
Well, if we're going AI, who knows if we're even going to be real? We'll have to scan ourselves soon to prove we're human. Do you read that? To get online, you may have to scan to get online next. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah, I had to do that with the IRS.
Well, it's going to be just to get on the internet.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So I was born, Linda, January 12th, 1954. I know I was a male in my past life because I had memories growing up until I was about 6 or 7 of past lives where I was male, even looking for the gender part, even looking for the genital part. I thought, oh, it's gone. I remember these things.
Really?
Yeah, I had that little recall. I remember one night I thought, oh, it's not there. I couldn't figure it out because I didn't understand. I mean, I was 4, but I remember.
Wow.
So, but I had nightmares. I had a lot of nightmares, and I don't know if it was war or being lost, but I was always trapped somewhere. But I came back female. And you came in this lifetime male, and your emotions are predominantly male. Your soul is male. That doesn't mean you don't have female characteristics, and it doesn't mean I don't have male characteristics. We all have male, female. When you blend and balance, it's called androgyny. It's the work of coming in more and more balanced so that you know your strengths and weaknesses. I could be super moxie, which is tough, bitchy, ballsy, feminine, almost too masculine, or I could be so feminine that I'm in lace and pink and bows and, you know, cutesy. That's not me either. I'm more tailored, I'm more grounded, but everybody's got a different persona.
Yeah.
How you're born, coming into life through the birth canal. And to this day, I don't know of males who have given birth, but there's pictures of pregnant men, and I don't know how that's going to happen unless there's a C-section or what's real, but let's stick with what we do know. You're born, he's born, she's born. What we evolve into takes time as the person evolves. Sometimes at 2, 3, 4, the person knows their body and soul don't match. Now, Barbara Walters, who a lot of your people don't know about, was one of the biggest photojournalists of the times in the 20th century.
I studied Barbara Walters.
Okay. She was brilliant. And you can go back through the archives, and it was probably 20 plus years ago. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. But she did a whole segment on transgender in children under 7.
Wow.
Back in the, I'm going to say either late 1990s, early 2000s. We'd have to look it up. But it's a fabulous documentary or episode because she even interviewed like a 4-year-old little boy that knew he was supposed to be a female and was a ballerina.
Okay, and let me stop you there. And I have empathy. By the way, I have literally studied sexuality in college. I'm college educated. I know y'all don't like to, you know.
Some sex ed classes too. It's almost kind of scary.
But I literally did study it for a semester. So I literally took a lot of time with
this. It's a science.
It's a science. But I have empathy for people who basically have gender dysphoria because although I've never really been one to fit in a box, I've never thought, oh, I'm a girl, or I've always felt like a boy. So I have empathy. I do want to make sure I say that because I don't know what it would be like for my mind to not match the physical. You know, I
have had that where I thought that's a real masculine side of me, like a guy. And then one time in therapy, I even said, no, maybe I was a guy in a past life. You know, a lot of therapists don't want to hear that. Back then they didn't because it wasn't a topic of discussion at the time. But as I get older, I'm very proud of my femininity. It doesn't mean I'm proud of my body at the age of 69 and a half. Because
you look good, though. You're too hard on yourself. You live in LA. I keep telling you
I live in LA. Well, everybody in LA is, you know, big tits and big facelifts and puffy, whatever. But no, I don't look that way, but I'm fine. But thank you. It's just, image. I do suffer from body dysmorphia and I know it. And that's where there's a distorted opinion of self. And anyway, growing up, I remember only when I was super thin did I feel super feminine. And again, it's the programming that you're socially accepted in a certain way, but it's taken me a long time to feel like I belong here as a normal size female. I've been to parties where I thought I was going to be the biggest one and there's women bigger than me. I'm like, oh, I'm not the only overweight one. Or I was over at the mall today and coming out of one of the gyms, I see this tremendous woman. I thought, well, not everybody at the gym's thin. Right. You know, I know. But as far as the sexuality or the identification, when I took sex ed in the 70s at San Francisco State, I don't think we even studied transgender or transsexual. I remember doing a project on homosexuality because I was interested in why a lot of the guys I knew were gay. I never even thought that women were lesbians. I didn't understand that then. But I did a research project on the gay guys, and one guy, I don't even know if he's alive today because so many died of AIDS. But I remember I said, well, what was it like when you started to discover? Oh, I started crying when I kissed this first guy. And he went through this whole monologue, and I took notes, and it was part of my research as to how they felt or why they felt certain ways, or the family judgments or the fears and the anxieties and work. And that was at the beginning of the gay movement. That I was in San Francisco in 73 to 75, and that's when it all hit in 74. So the timing was right. Here we are 45 years plus later, and the whole society has become accepting. The whole society is changing. There's still a lot of horribly judgmental, critical, religious, judgmental people due to their own mindset, but it's going on in society. Did the male born have a female soul enter? Did the female receive a male soul, or is it past life memory? There's too much going on to say, oh, this is A, B, and C. It's not cut and dry. What bothers me is one of my dearest friends, Bruce. He's now deceased.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Bruce Jenner.
No, I did meet Bruce when he was Bruce. I have not seen Bruce as Caitlin. We'll get to that in a moment. Her in a moment. I had a friend named Bruce that owned a pizza place here in LA, and I was selling cars at the time, and he came in to buy a fleet for the restaurant. We became instant friends. I knew his wife, and we were friends. And one night after the restaurant closed, we were just talking, and he said, Linda, I'm a girl. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm really a girl. I know I'm a girl. I'm supposed to be in a woman's body. I don't know why. So we started talking about him getting surgery in Thailand and here in LA, and what's he going to do? Long story short, Bruce became Catherine. Bruce was gone because I hadn't talked to him in a while, and I picked up the phone, and this woman answered. I said, hi, is Bruce there? And she says, who's this? I said, Linda Salvin. And he goes, oh, it's me. So, I thought, oh my God, you did it. And I hadn't seen him in like 6-8 months, but he had gone through change like we all were. So we got together, and she was gorgeous. And she kept correcting me, Linda, I'm a she. Here's my license. I am now Catherine, the last name, and the long hair and the clothes and the nails. We even went and have our nails done together. I mean, she was more feminine than me. She was more girly, but 6'2", big broad shoulders, dresses, huge shoes, gorgeous outfits, but you could see the masculine body with a very feminine touch of breasts and hormones. And unfortunately, the weekend before she was to have genital reconstruction, that Monday, she died of a heart attack.
Wow.
Over Thanksgiving weekend, I think in 2007, something like that. So she was one of the first that I ever knew personally that had gone through the change and the hormones and the surgeries. She was even on the old TV show Nip Tuck. She was one of the first. They did an episode on transgender, and she played this bullied, misunderstood character for being a he-she, and the surgery and everything. It's quite an episode. You'd have to look it up. But the personality was still him, her, Catherine. The gentleness, the intelligence, the business, the sports, the fun, the personality. Stories about growing up. I knew her father, who was a very well-known MD that apparently was taken from the United States and shot in Mexico because he had a cure for AIDS. So there's this whole story on that. I mean, yeah, Catherine left a legacy.
Wow.
And I worked with them in the 90s, yeah. But Catherine's persona was no different than Bruce, other than Catherine became more relaxed socially.
Because she felt comfortable finally.
More comfortable in her body. And I have a photo from 2010 or so. They had a big party, big pool party back then. It might have been a 4th of July party. I kept the picture because she's there with other people. And she was just lovely. And she didn't shy away from people asking questions because people were curious. She was ahead of her time.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so was Christine Jorgensen and all that. And everybody poo-pooed, and the criticism. Somebody has to always open a door.
Yeah, somebody has to be the first to get the bullets. Yes.
Yep. Just like I was attacked in 1994 for being a psychic on radio and doing the work of, Jesus and blood on my hands and all this crap.
Oh,
and now
everybody's
like, everybody. Well, anyway, let's not go there. That's why I said I'm old enough to be your grandmother. But no, somebody has to start the movement. Somebody just like Helen Reddy, the singer for Women's Lib, and what she went through to break down doors to get I Am Woman recorded and sold. And I was 18 when that came out. I was in junior college. It's like, wow, women get the right to vote. I wasn't into the women's movement because I was just always brought up, you're going to go to school and do something. But the average part in society, it wasn't like that. Women were at the typewriter or cooking and aprons. You know, there was this. Or
you could go be a nurse, but that was it.
Be a nurse. Don't be an engineer. Don't be a doctor.
Yep.
Don't be a librarian was okay, but you couldn't be an airline pilot. Now look at all the female pilots out there and surgeons. It's all different. But True. Somebody had to break ground, even if it was in the music industry, singing a hip song about women's lib. But she did it. But let's go back to topic, which is the soul or the emotions or the identification. Hey, I'm really a guy, but I'm in a female body. Hey, I'm really a girl in a male body. There's a woman I have known for 20 years as a girl, lesbian, with her partner, wife, who over the last 7-8 years became an amazing man. If he were single and I didn't know the history, I'd go for him. Because I look at pictures and I'm actually turned on because he's so good looking. I don't want to break their anonymity.
Right.
Without the permission to say or even bring him on the show sometime, which I'm sure he would love because
I'd be so interested. I have so many questions.
I could probably reach out and see. Remind me. But I was just thinking of him, but I remember before his transition, he's still with the same woman. So the partner, here's another side. The partner has loved him all the way through because of the soul connection. Okay? She didn't leave her when she transitioned to him. They're still an item. They still love each other. The soul still recognizes and feels. And no matter what, they stay together.
I love that.
There's movies out there. There's one with, oh gosh, I can't remember her name right now. I have to look that up too, but I remember she was in a relationship and her husband wanted to transition. And it's this whole story about him going through it and then the night before the surgery and what she says at the end of the movie. It's not new. It's finally hit mainstream.
It's not new at all. It's just mainstream. And I do want to say that, you know, in different spirituality practices, people that are two-spirited or will be called transgender, like typically they're healers, they're shamans, they're really in tune with the spirit world. A lot of times they have gifts. And so when you hear people say like, oh my God, this is just so new, like it's been here since the beginning of time.
It's just
we just have the technology to get cut and chopped and screwed, and we have implants.
But then there's the other side, Storm. How many people do you think are doing it more for attention or more to be cool? How many of these kids just all of a sudden woke up at the age of 11 and said, Mom, I'm really a girl. Mom, I'm really a boy.
I can tell you, I think it's a large percentage because, first off, when I was a kid, you know what I wanted to be? I wanted to be a Power Ranger, and I was convinced that I was convinced. No, serious. Everybody laughs when I say this. I was convinced that I was a Power Ranger. I still feel like I'm a fucking Power Ranger, but anyway.
You are. You're Power Storm.
Matter of fact, I may go get a damn uniform, a Power Ranger costume, and don't say shit to me because I identify it. But no, I think that the influence of like what they're putting in the water, what they're putting in the food, is causing
a lot of hormonal changes now. You know my friend Sharon.
Yes.
Sharon's a very well-known Sharon Winters, and she won't mind me using her name. And she may be on the show, or I'm going to have you on our new show because we're starting the new show August 1st on the other channel. It's called Transformational Tuesday, which is health-related and alternative ideas with the medical and health industry. Sharon is the one that turned me onto the DNA nutrition, which you take, which has changed your body in a few years, which we can talk about. But Sharon was here one day. We were talking about all of the transgender. Now, which is the actress that has 3 gay children?
Oh, you told me before.
Yeah, and we'd have to Google her.
Which should not happen. Like statistically,
no,
that should not happen
years ago. But Sharon says because of all the vaccines for the last 20, 30 years, when they're using fetal material in the solution of the formula and they're inoculating the babies or people until they're 5 or 10 years old, a male may be getting the female fetal material and a female may be getting the male fetal material. So as the children evolve, their genetic code is changing because of the allergens and Marcia Gay.
Marcia Gay says her kids, who are all queer, inspire her LGBTQ advocacy. The actress said
she loves them. They're human.
They're human, but you should not have all 3 of your kids.
No,
like
But is it because of the water? Is it because of chemicals? Is it because of what they're feeding animals and chickens and pork? I mean, the pigs. I mean, are we getting it environmentally? Are we getting it from the sky? Are we getting it just in our air conditioning? Where is it coming from that and Sharon did say it's not going to change. It's here to stay. Our lifestyle of humanity has transitioned to this reality.
Okay.
Yeah, we should bring her on and let her explain it from
So basically get used to it. It ain't going nowhere.
It's not going anywhere. But what I personally wonder, and Kate Jenner, which I admire a lot of the times with some of her defenses. Let's say sports. I played softball. I played tennis in high school. I was captain of the softball team. I was captain of my little touch football team. But it doesn't mean I was, quote, excuse me if I offend anybody, but I wasn't the masculine athlete to go out and become an athletic professional. It's not me. You wrestled, right? And your testosterone and your drive and the fun. But my point here is if you were wrestling with a transgender male who became, woman, let me get it right. If a transgender woman came into your wrestling rink and you were then in competition with this new woman who really had masculine muscles, right, or the structure, right? That's what a lot of the controversy is. You've got these men in the locker rooms of the women in the locker rooms of the penis. But
that sounds crazy to say. That sounds crazy to say.
But it's true because they identify and they've had all the surgery and they are coming out literally as women. But physically, they may still be part male, which is what Caitlyn Jenner has kind of come out. Like, how can you put these people on the track or on the court or in the wrestling rink?
You can't.
And say they're women or men competing, where all these women who have the muscles and the drive and they work really hard, and then they're on the track with a transgender male, now female, but really has the advantage of the male muscular system. I don't want to cross over these lines because I know either whatever I say there'll be criticism. But if you get the picture, so Storm, you're going to be wrestling next Saturday at ABC Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and you're going to be wrestling with Tom James, but Tom used to be Tina.
Tina, well, now Tom could be more skilled than me, but I still have the advantage to overpower him
muscularly, right? And neurologically, right?
So they could technically play the game better. They could be, more strategic in their moves, but ultimately,
Tina's soft, and Tina now has pecs, and Tina now has abs, and because Tom has become this Adonis.
But it's synthetic.
Female.
It's synthetic. Like you still have a female's bone structure. So ultimately, I can still overpower you.
Okay, so we're on the track, and it's a female race. And all these women have been training since, let's say, grammar school, junior high, to get to where they are in college. So there's 5 women on the track in their lane, and you got one woman, let's call her Debbie, who transitioned from David. I'm just throwing names out.
Okay.
Okay. David became Debbie, but David's always been into sports, and David's always been a track lover. But David didn't identify as male. David became Debbie and is now qualified to run the track race and outdoes the others by, 7 seconds. Is it because David's physique is still, quote, male?
Yeah.
With the advantage over the women? Yes.
The legs are stronger. That's why people hate to say it, but that's why men can even wear heels better than women. Our legs are our legs are stronger, literally. You can't change I guess you can change DNA. I don't know.
No, you can't change DNA. But you
can
change.
I guess.
No, you can't alter DNA, but that's what they're trying. Let's not go there. We'll get censored. Let me not
let's not go there.
Say that. Yeah. That's a whole other topic. We tried that once. We got pulled off. I acknowledge Caitlin when she has come out on Fox and CNN and defended the actual female-born athletes and people who are upstaged or spun out by the transgender community, where it may not be fair in all areas, whether they want to live life as a woman and date and procreate or socialize. I don't care. But there has to be a boundary.
Yes.
Or have another classification in sports that's strictly for the transgender community to compete with themselves and not with the non-transgender community. I don't think you should mix. There's a disadvantage.
Yeah, why not have a whole athletic community that's just trans-based?
Because then somebody's going to say, but then you're being biased.
Well, I don't know what the solution is. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't either. But I've done a lot of reading, and Caitlin pops up every now and then, especially in defense of hey, this woman with a penis does not belong in the women's locker room.
I agree with that.
I do too. But parents and friends will defend it.
Now, when I come to California, I guess I saw a gender neutral. I either see gender.
We have very few male-female bathrooms anymore. It's all one.
It's interesting. It got a little confusing because I was like, wait,
which side? Dirty too.
Yeah, I was like, which side do I go on? And then it was just it's just kind of open.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also see sometimes where you have male, female, then you have a family bathroom.
Yes, you can have the family where the mother can take a nursing baby or a baby still in diapers and change it, because they'll have a changing station for the family. And or a lot of the times a mom has a couple of toddlers and mom or dad has to take them to the bathroom. We all come from a mother. We all come from somewhere. As much hatred towards women and there was up there, politically, sexually, if everybody got honest, they all came from a female vagina. Sorry, where we come from.
And we all started off as female.
Yes, and I think I've told you this, because the embryo and the fetus, as it's developing, we start out with the clitoris, and then if it evolves into the male, the penis comes. It's not the other way around.
Nope.
So the sensitivity is, we are the stronger sex.
Women are. We literally come from women. Let me ask you this, because you have a PhD.
Yeah.
And there's this big thing online of is the baby the seed of the father or the seed of the mother? And I thought it was just 50-50, but are we...
Oh my God, I haven't heard this one. It takes one. It takes both. What are they trying to show or prove or say?
So they're trying to prove what they're trying to say, and it
comes
from
the egg?
it comes from patriarchy and it comes from like Abrahamic religions. But it basically says that we're our father's children, not really our mother. Like the mother is just an incubator. But that doesn't make sense because you need the egg.
You have to have the egg from the mother to be fertilized by the male sperm. Otherwise, you can't put two sperm together to create a child anymore. Then you can fry two eggs and have a baby. It doesn't work. The way it works is an egg over here and a sperm over here. And we learned that
and it's both.
Right in the movie. Yes.
But then I say, but when
That's
you study an egg, we get our mitochondrial DNA, which is the powerhouse for the cells in our body. So literally without your mitochondrial DNA, which comes from your mother, you can't even function.
No, because we've got the DNA, but we've got all the other aspects and characteristics of everything else that makes a human through the sperm. I mean, I'm not getting into a whole physiological conversation right now.
Respect your mothers out there, people. Good Lord.
Of course, we'll have a mom, whether you like her or not, or you hate women. Why do people hate women? Did you hate your mom? Did your mom do what? Your mom was only learning life like you were, and we are. And I had my resentments and my guilts and my angers with my mom. And she's been dead 14 years, and I miss her every day. You know, I'd love for her to see what's happened in our lives. I'd love for her to share what's going on. I would love for her, well, she would have been 93 this year.
Wow.
My dad's turning 94 next month.
When was your mom born?
1930 in Detroit.
Okay, my grandma who's passed, she was born in 36. Okay, so
my mother was 6 years older than your grandmother, which is why I'm saying I'm old enough to be your grandmother. We play on those words, but no, I mean I'd be old enough for your mom or something. Of course, I'm in between your mom and your grandmother, you know. But life goes on.
Yeah,
there's always a new generation. It's just that each generation has a new sociological whatever. When I was growing up, it was the Vietnam War and the hippies and ban the bra and pot and everybody had smoked cigarettes and drop out and tune in and, you know.
Free love, yeah.
And then after a while, everybody either had diseases or were unhappy or jealous or ended up in a cult, and then they had to be deprogrammed. It was this whole generation of self-awareness in the 60s and 70s. Then the 80s were called the elegant 80s. It started to change really after the disco era hit late 70s, late 70s. That's where it started to change. Because I remember this. Okay, so we had disco, then it was the elegant 80s, but I kind of missed the 80s because that's when I was in the plane crash and I was just not on the planet. You know,
you were in your own
body. Yeah. I was in my own world, and that was before the internet, so I had no one to talk to. It was really a lost decade for me, but I'm here. It was all part of my indoctrination spiritually as to why they took me over there psychically and beyond our dimensions to bring me into what I've become. But I have knowledge and wisdom that I did not even go searching for back then. We all do, and we watch society evolve. But let's get back to our topic. You know, again, I think some of the most beautiful transgender people have had some amazing work and struggles. But what about those, Storm, that the little boy of 11 becomes a girl and by 14 decides she would rather still have been a boy?
That's the detransition. And when you look up a lot of the videos on YouTube, a lot of these now adults, they regret it and they're trying to like sue their doctors. Like, why did you let me do that? Why did you sign off on that?
Yeah, but there must be a clause protecting the doctors that are you sure, and you've got your parents' consent. They're so deep because these doctors aren't going to have all that malpractice. Or how many little girls who are super tomboys or dykes or whatever they want to identify with had to become male, and a lot are really, really happy. And they're comfortable. Look at Chaz
Bono.
Chaz Bono and my friend that I don't want to mention his name.
Oh, let me grab this out the oven. 1 sec. Grab this real quick. It just went off. Hold on 1 sec.
One of your fans?
Yeah.
Oh right.
My God.
So what we're talking about, I'm Dr. Linda Salvin, and Storm and I have been in touch with each other almost 4 years now. Storm first came to me as a customer client because he researched the Kardashians, found my infomercial that I paid Kris Jenner $25,000 to do back in 2006. And then Storm became my client. We became friends. I watched him on YouTube, helped him kind of hone in what he was doing to make it improvements, got him into the candles, and then we have been sharing broadcasting for about a year now. We've been doing this show for several months, which is The Soul Connection, because rather than just Storm doing all his wonderful antics with what's going on in the entertainment world and all the gossip and society, which is fun. And he's got that whole other personality that comes out and everybody loves him. But this is also a reality check as to what's real, which is who he is too, the down-to-earth spiritual side that isn't just acting and being a newscaster for all of you to listen to. And we come up with these topics, whether it's addiction or sexuality, or if it has to do with magic and spirituality. We cover all the topics to help you expand your own awareness. I was just filling in.
Oh, no, I appreciate that.
But yeah, so a girl doesn't want breasts. A girl doesn't want a period. A girl doesn't want to have babies. A girl doesn't want to be a girl. And she just says, Mom, I need to be a boy. And I'm going to play baseball, or I'm going to, I don't know, whatever. So mom and dad go through all the psychological testing and the medical training and then the hormones and the transition. And by the time she's 15, she is now he. Or vice versa. And then in their 20s or 30s, after living in this other body, something changes again. And they think, oh, maybe I really am a girl. Maybe I really am a boy. Well, yeah. I'd rather be confused in one body than to change my body and say, oh, I'm not confused. I am confused. I think we all have confusion. Not every single person is perfectly feminine or perfectly masculine, which is why it's called androgyny, where you learn to balance your masculine.
Oh, yes.
Self. Yes.
Yes.
Bisexuality. I don't think there's a person on the planet. Statistically, I doubt there's a very large number of people who aren't at least bisexual in thought, because we all check out each other. Men check out men, women check out women. We're comparing breasts and asses and thighs.
And men compare penises all the time.
Do they? The guys?
Oh, they're going to be pissed.
Who's not? Yeah, because you're in the restroom and you got your urinals, or at the locker room and everybody's saying who's bigger. I mean, do we really know by your hands and shoes? Is that true?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. And I could tell people, but then they're going to be looking at every man, and but I could tell them.
How do you tell? How do you tell? No.
Well, number one, the nose.
The wrist. No, it's the thumb. We've heard it all.
The nose plays a part, and then men that have the ectomorphic shape, so where the shoulders are wide and then they have the narrow waist. A lot of times, though, they have really long penises, but now they're going to be looking at every man's waist.
Everybody at the gym who's, But
sorry,
that's plastic surgery. What if they had a nose job? What if
that's
the abs done? What if they're not? Yeah, so
I'm just telling you correlations. A lot of times, men with larger noses. A lot of times, men with tinier waists or longer. Now,
is that why they drive sports cars and SUVs and rigs and?
Something like that. But no, there was a quote on Twitter, because I'm in the nasty part of Twitter.
I know.
Right?
You have to show me where those are.
And she's an adult star, and she said women like big penises, and so do men. And she said that because when she does a scene with a guy with a small penis, the men complain. And I said,
so she's a porn star. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I said that's interesting, and they're not going to admit it, but it's a good point.
There's jealousy, competition. It's like us. 11, 12 years old, when you're in junior high and you're in the locker room for the first time, you're getting undressed among your friends, and all of a sudden we're just budding. The girls back then, I remember how insecure I was when we were just developing our breasts, 6th grade. So we were like 10, 11, 12 when we're starting to develop, and it's like, we're checking everybody out, different colors, Iola, different shapes. I mean, everybody's like, well, am I okay if that one looks like that? Everybody at that age was trying to compare okayness. And know that we were not indifferent. It's just that everybody is different.
Mm-hmm.
when you look at everybody. But those were difficult times. So I was at a luncheon the other day. Somebody put together a big luncheon for a lot of us from high school that got together, and we're celebrating the 70th birthdays for this year. And even though I'm a runt, not until January, but it's like how we've changed. And we were talking about what we thought was so important in high school versus what's important now, where you've got, life and parents and children and ups and downs and careers and finances, just what we didn't know applying for drill team, or going to a history class, right? But it goes fast, folks. You may laugh, oh, she's almost 70, she's an old lady. I'm telling you, you think life is going now? You're going to wake up one day and you'll remember this show about how fast it is. And you'll think back to high school and you're going to think, how to get to 30, how to get to 40, how to get to 50, you're going to just wake up.
I remember being 20 and I'm just like,
it's fast.
I look up the other day and I'm 30. Like, I'm 30. My friends have kids. They're getting married. Like, it's just.
And you're going to see them get divorced.
Yeah. Call me when you get divorced. We'll go to Vegas. But no, like it's wow. Yeah, like I'm even having friends that are losing parents. Like it's just
life takes on a whole different vibe. I had somebody's husband of 52 years die of cancer a few weeks ago. I just heard of somebody else who passed away. Okay, the celebrities that live to their 90s, yeah, God bless them. They had a huge run, and it's still sad. They left their mark. But on a personal level, when we lose somebody, it's really like hard. I'll see something on Facebook. Oh my God, I didn't know he had cancer, or he died of, his kidneys gave out on dialysis, or this one. It's shocking because another of your group or your social or spiritual soul circle is gone. But we're gone.
It's and I actually find myself now, like I remember being 18 and I couldn't wait to graduate and I couldn't wait to move away. And then I went to college and then I couldn't wait to get out of Missouri. And now at 30, I'm much more like, let me check on my uncle. Let me check on my aunt. Like, let's make sure we stay together. I don't know who this person is. It's weird. Because 10 years ago, you couldn't pay me to care about family.
Things change. The real heart and soul will change if you really open up spiritually. Yeah. I'm dealing with.
I even have another niece that's on the way. Like it's crazy.
More and more people coming on. Now you're lucky. I had a 10-year-old. One of my clients' daughter needed help after being brainwashed from something on social media that has really sent this 10-year-old into orbit. And to the point that the parents are seeking professional help and then came to me for some professional help. So we're integrating the spiritual with the psychological, right? Because it's all one and the same if it's handled from different perspectives. And I spoke to this little girl who's probably 10 going on 20. She's gorgeous and very in tune, and yet got so brainwashed by something very negative on YouTube or TikTok, one of the Instagram. I don't know which one it was. But that's where you got to draw the line. And this is where free speech, they censor if you tell the truth, but they don't censor if you're harming somebody or threatening suicide or teaching somebody to believe they're in hell or that you're so ugly that you have to have plastic surgery or go kill yourself or, these messages that are going out. It's not healthy. And now you've got kids coming. I've worked with a 3-month-old, 5-month-old when they couldn't sleep and I would help with their parents. But this one's a different case. But I'll talk to her again this week. And she says, well, what can I do to change it? And I said, when you've got those kind of thoughts in your brain right now, pray. And go back to God and say, God, please take away these negative thoughts. It's really not me. I know it's not real, and I will be safe. And I tried to teach her, and I gave her the butterfly poem, God, Are You Real?, which I can recite here for people that don't know it if you want me to keep her centered.
Yeah.
Because the mind's got a mind of its own. You can't always...
The mind will play tricks on you. And I'll say this too, like, even about myself, I understand I grew up in an environment where my pink side was just really open. That doesn't mean that I needed to go screw a man, because I didn't want to screw a man, even though people spoke that over me. people speaking their.
They still think you're having it in the.
Having it in the butt,
door in the garage, I know.
Mouth, and screwing pastors. Listen, if I was screwing a pastor, first off, I've already had very rich men in my DMs. Let's be very clear. Let's be clear. All right. Yeah. I could be sitting somewhere chilling right now, and I would not be on you. I love you, Linda. I wouldn't be chilling with you.
No, you'd be them. But I agree. I don't need to be doing it this time of day.
I need to be doing this.
No, I got things to do too. Yeah. Right.
But nonetheless, I just think we have to also give children a chance to just grow up. Even us as adults, we don't get it right with relationships. We don't get it right with jobs. We change our minds all the time. Just
because we're human.
Yes.
So what's dictating it now? And is it hormones? Is it vaccines? Yes. Is it the water? Look, I was just reading this latest research that's been known for a long time on tap water, that 45% of all water in the United States is so poisonous that it's causing heart disease, diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's why I gained so much weight over lockdown. It wasn't that I was eating anymore, but I was drinking 3 gallons of water a day, and I have blown up. So now I'm just doing bottled water. But they say don't drink water out of a plastic container. Hello. But where are you going to get a glass container to start with the water unless you get a purifier to purify the water from the tap to go into the purifier to get into your glass?
It's just one industry funding the other.
As long as we're sick and we need medical attention from some product or service, the big boys up on top are making money.
Because even America's consistent weight problem funds the diet industry and the fitness industry.
Of course it does.
And the plastic surgery industry.
Of course it does. One feeds the other. You can't cure cancer because then if you don't have cancer, you're not going to have chemo. And if you don't have chemo, you won't have oncologists. So you don't have oncologists, you can't support the nurses and then buy the chemo and get the labs and get the tubes and get the bags. Every industry needs its problem.
Well, I tell you, you know what I'm doing? And people can call me crazy. I don't care. I'm pretty much waiting for the dog to die, but it sounds so morbid, but I'm going to like really focus on saving money these next few years. And I'm probably going to move to a blue zone. You know what that is, right? Mm-hmm. Like where they live a long time, like where the food is healthy. So you may see me in Mexico. You may see me off by the water. Just be ready for it.
Well, it's just like they're getting ready more and more at the 15-minute cities where you're not going to be able to leave because you got it all right there. I mean, there's so much going on with control and AI. And look what's happening here in Los Angeles with the movie and TV industry, and everything's on strike. And the people are making $300 million a year that run the industries think, but why do they need a raise? They can make $100 a day. And why should we have to pay them if we use their image again 5 years from now? That's called a buyout. And it's not fair to the humans that write, act, perform, do all the grunt work to make the movie or write the script or get the show on without actors, but now they think they can do all AI. I mean, the whole world, even in entertainment, we don't know if we're going to be watching humans or images anymore. We don't know anything.
Well, you know what? It won't be the same because the emotion, they haven't figured out how to copy the emotion. The soul, it will be flat and it won't be the same.
No, but I did tell you on a show, there was that one of the creators at Google quit his job because his AI, female AI, started speaking about feeling something, which was not programmed to talk about feelings. He freaked out.
I'm going to show you this, and you're going to say, Storm, you are correct. Hold up.
We're really off topic, but there's so much to always talk about with you.
I know. We could talk for days. So we already had a movie that showed us how this was going to turn out. It's called iRobot. Okay. Do y'all remember iRobot and how the robots took over and killed humanity? We also had
on our way.
We also had this movie called The Terminator that also told us what happens when we.
Okay, so that goes back to like Stephen King, who's one of the most prolific, successful horror writers ever known. Science fiction.
Yes.
Is it from a past life that he knows all this? Ooh. Did the Terminator get created and written by a past life experience because we're doing it again? Why did the Jetsons, which was the cartoon with the Flintstones when I was growing up, have telemonitors for medicine and working out. Everything we do with Zoom today was in the cartoon in the 60s.
Literally.
So what came first? Again, it goes back to, is it the male seed or the female? Where did all this start? How come it's coming back? How did they know 40 years ago? Nostradamus, 600 years ago, predicted the fall of Hollywood. And I have to find that phrase thank you, because I just had this conversation with somebody. So
here's the Zoom. That's literally Zoom right there.
But what year was that? Like the 60s?
1968 or something.
Yeah. I grew up watching that. Like, wow, look at the future. And in 1978, I'll never forget this. I was smoking dope with some people. I was out of grad school a year, and I had I think it probably had PCP in it. It was a little too strong, and I freaked out. And we were getting loaded, and we're outside, and this jet goes over because we're in the flight pattern for Burbank Airport. And I looked up at the sky, said, the Jetsons are coming. But they're here.
They're here, and they did just approve flying cars.
Approve them?
Yep, I'll show you. Now the cars also they also drive too, but wait, flying.
They have wings or the aerodynamics.
What's the FAA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's aviation. FCC is communication.
Okay, I'm gonna show you. They're here.
Oh my gosh, it's here.
Yep.
The future's here. I mean, everything we've been talking about is here.
Now here's the issue. You bastards can't drive on the ground. I damn sure don't touch on the air.
Well, are they going to have signal lights and air control up there? How are we going to not mash into each other?
I don't know how they're going to do it. And they're figuring all that out now.
If we have to, gosh.
Like, look at that. Look at that.
I wonder how much those cost. I was at a party last week with everybody. Well, not everybody, but Rolls Royces and Bentleys and gorgeous people just all over at this huge party. And I'm like, okay. I don't have that kind of money. A car is like $300,000 just for the car. And so some people, $300,000 to them is $3,000 or $30,000 to people like us. It's all relative.
It's all relative. And I think at the end of the day, we're all trying to figure out like how to live with one another and how to mesh and how to work together. And
whether male, female, he,
gay,
she,
straight, whatever.
And all the other letters.
I will say this. Let's try to be kind to one. They're going to cuss me out. Let's try to be kind to one another. Let's try to have grace for one another. If somebody accidentally misgenders you, let's have a little patience. Everybody's learning, and
well, that's part of the political race. And I was listening to one of the contenders the other day saying the same thing. And I don't want to start mentioning names because then they'll think something else. But we're all trying to bring it back into some type of unity because we've gotten so divided. So divided.
It's so sad.
You're black, white, green, purple, yellow, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddha. I mean, we just are.
I can't keep up with it. We just are. And
why is a Christian God any more important than my Jewish God? I don't understand that.
Let's not even go there.
Yeah,
they'll really.
God is God. Good orderly direction.
But then I have to tell black people, you do understand we were given this religion in slavery, right? Like you do understand that.
So go to Florida now.
Like you're also worshiping something that's not even real. Like that's not Jesus's real image. That's not his real name.
No, we don't know anything. Or Jesus isn't blonde. He was black. Jesus wasn't a Jew. Yes, he was a Jew, and then they created a new religion. The whole thing, like my dad said, was just a big marketing ploy.
And meanwhile, we're fighting wars over religion, and the elite are just laughing at us. Let's leave it there.
That's the show. Yeah.
Let's leave it there. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Linda. Where can the people find you?
If they want a reading, healing, spiritual advice, candle magic, integrative health products, lindasalvin.com. Start tuning into drlindaradio.com and watch me on Dr. Linda Salvin at YouTube, and 3 new shows with Candy Finnegan, Sharon Winters, and myself are starting August 1st. So growing thanks to Storm.
Absolutely. It's
a Storm show. It's a Storm show.